know that the French are hugely passionate about rugby, cycling, football.
Don't you mean soccer?
Ignore him. But sports culture in France goes much further than that. So if you want to know about water jousting, drunk marathon running, and how witchcraft is linked to sport in France, my friend, you've come to the right place. So let's take a look at the weird world of French sports. Starting with football. While French football follows many standard traditions common to the sport globally, there are some that are unique or more prominent to France, like French football's links with witchcraft. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Several French football teams and individual players have tried to use it for their benefit.
So what's your name? Oh, I'm Jean-Paul Dalix. Oh, what do you do for a living, Jean-Paul? I actually behead chickens so that Montpellier can score more goals during their games.
All right, go Montpellier! Mystiques and witch doctors, or marabouts as they're called in France, claim to be able to cast a curse, lift a curse, bring luck and success, or just make someone's life miserable.
What would you like, sir? Yes, could I have some chicken nuggets, please? Unfortunately, we're all out. Of course. Damn those marabouts! Ruined my life!
In 1997, Michel Denisot, who was the president of PSG at the time, was so desperate for his side to reach the group stages of the Champions League that he reached out to a witch doctor for help. After a few consultations, paying 200 euros each time, the witch doctor kept telling Denisot he couldn't predict what would happen in the second leg. Then, 2 days before the game, he said, "You will win 5-0, it is certain. The fourth goal will be scored by the number 18 in the 41st minute." PSG then went on to win 5-0. And Florian Maurice, who wore the number 18, scored at the 40th minute. I mean, what a hack, this guy. He said 41st. He clearly said 41st, and he just was so off. No, but honestly, I mean, that's pretty spooky. I mean, what are the odds? Actually, someone in the comments section, please tell me what are the actual, like, numerical odds of that happening. I want to know, and I'm not good enough at math to do that. And now, of course, a football game wouldn't be complete without the fans shouting at the referee. So in case you don't know this already, the classic refereeing insult in France is "au chiotte l'arbitre," which literally translates to the toilet referee. So if there's one thing you need to learn before going to see a soccer game in France, that's it. I mean, what are you going to do other than shouting that at the referee? I mean, that's why we go to sports game, right? It's just to get out our anger. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a fair reflection of sports in France if I didn't talk about rugby. And for those of you who don't know, rugby is sort of like American football, minus the shoulder pads, the helmets, and the general concern for safety. Although, strangely enough, even though data suggests that there are indeed less injuries in football, the severity of injuries is generally higher than in rugby, as the collisions lack the control that rugby players have. The France national rugby team, known as Les Bleus, are one of the strongest teams in the world and have many trophies to show for their efforts, and I'm not just saying that because I'm French. It's true. It's true. It's a fact. They're known for having a unique and creative playing style that usually involves risky moves. Les Bleus have competed at every World Cup since the inaugural tournament in 1987. And how many World Cup trophies have Les Bleus won, you ask? None. They've never won. Ever. It kind of reminds me of Lieutenant Dan's family going to every single American war and dying in every single one, you know? Like, can we survive one, please? Now, here's where it gets interesting. The French love rugby so much that they ended up combining it with another sport. That's right, introducing rugby golf, a 100% real sport.
So let me get this right. It's not rugby.
Yes.
And it's not golf.
That's right.
So it's rugby and golf?
Oui, but it's far superior to rugby or golf.
Why?
Because it's French, of course.
Oh, and what are the rules?
Here is my copy of Rugby Golf for Dummies.
For dummies?
Oui, it's just a brief summary of the 567 rules of rugby golf.
Why do you French make everything so complicated?
Just remember to give it back when you're done, though. I use it to hold down my bistro table on my patio during hurricane season. Yes. Now on to cycling. Yes, of course, another one of France's most popular sports, both as a sport and as a recreational activity. I mean, recreational. Everything the French people do casually is not so casual. I mean, there's just a lot of yelling involved, especially Paris. Biking, yelling, cars, people, pedestrians. Anyways, moving on. The Tour de France being the most iconic cycling race globally, and it only ever happens in France. It's an integral part of French sporting culture, and it attracts top cyclists from around the world, as well as millions of spectators who line the routes annually. But I'm sure you just want to know about some crazy moments in its history. So here we go. In 1975, Eddy Merckx, one of the greatest cyclists in history, was bitten by a spectator's dog during a stage. But the incident wasn't enough to stop Merckx, who went on to win that day's stage and secure his 5th Tour de France victory. Talk about being a real champion. In the 2016 Tour, Chris Froome, I don't know. Anyways, Chris Froome crashed during stage 12. Instead of waiting for a replacement bike and losing time, Froome decided to run up Mont Ventoux. The sight of a cyclist running up a mountain became one of the iconic images of that year's Tour. And you know what? That is badass. During the 1964 Tour, legendary French cyclist Jacques Anquetil reportedly took a nap during a stage, confident that his lead was sufficient. I mean, nobody knows if Anquetil actually napped or if it was a tactic, but either way, if you're so good at something that you can even just pretend to sleep whilst doing it, you've pretty much mastered it. I think it's safe to say you're pretty good at it. You're 10 out of 10. Hey, are you hurt? Do you need me to get a medic?
Yeah. No, it's just my heure de sieste.
But, sieste? We're in the middle of a race.
Ugh, you Americans are always in such a hurry. Don't worry, I'll still make it back before you. You French are always so pompous.
Now, France is also the motherland of one of the most ancient sports, tennis. Historians believe that tennis originated in 12th century northern France. But go ahead and lower your expectations, because back in the 12th century, they didn't play with rackets, they used their hands. I mean, it's not just lame, you didn't invent a sport, you're just hitting a ball. That's what kids do naturally, you just hit a ball with your hand. Whoever came up with the racket, that's who invented the sport. But anyways, they called the game jeu de paume, game of the palm. You may think, wow, French, super original. It says the people who call the sport football because you use a foot to hit a ball. So, yeah. Now, the first famous tennis star wasn't Rafael Nadal or the Williams sisters, it was France's king, Louis X, who was known to be an avid and talented jeu de paume player, and many credit him for popularizing the sport in Europe. Talented player, sure.
What's the score? 1-3, I'm in the lead.
No, you fool!
I'm in the lead with 15 points.
Wait, what? You've only scored one time, how do you have 15 points?
No. Okay, you have 15 points. Please don't send me to the guillotine. No, fine. No guillotine for you. 15 love.
Love?
Yes, because you all love me so much. Also, 3 points is not 45, it's 40. Okay, let's go.
Now, I could go on about French tennis, rugby, football,
soccer.
Would you please shut up?
French bastard.
But let's dive a little deeper into the weirdest sports in France. And I'm not talking about a rugby golf cycling hybrid. No, we're talking about water jousting, known as joute nautique, which is a traditional water sport that has its roots in medieval tournaments. It involves two participants, known as jousters, who stand on narrow boats called toux or tournantes, which are equipped with a platform at the stern where the jousters stand. The objective is for one jouster to knock the other off their boat and into the water using a lance. The jousters wear protective gear, including helmets and padding, to ensure their safety during the competition. It's like the PG version of actual jousting. Sign me up. Well, I mean, to watch someone else do it. I don't want to get jousted. Slightly more popular is parkour. Originating in France in the suburbs of 1980s Paris, parkour is a physical discipline that involves efficient movement through an environment using a combination of running, jumping, climbing, swinging, and vaulting. The actual term parkour is derived from the French word parcours, meaning route or course. The discipline was initially referred to as l'art du déplacement, meaning the art of movement, but I guess they just thought that was lame, which it kind of is. L'art du mouvement, the art of movement, it's kind of arrogant.
And that's all there is to it. So let me get this straight. This sport is essentially just finding the hardest way to get somewhere? Ugh, how do you still not understand? Here, step back, let me demonstrate. Parkour! There! You see? That's parkour.
Okay, so it's like Spider-Man, but without the webs?
Oui, if Spider-Man were French. It's stupid.
And now for my favorite of all the weird French sports, if this even qualifies as a sport. The fact that it's a full marathon probably means it does qualify as a sport, but this is a marathon with a twist. It's a marathon with 23 wine stops that also offer specialties such as oysters, steak, and ice cream. How these people do it without throwing up, I am sure I will never know. This is the Médoc Marathon. The Médoc Marathon, or Marathon du Médoc, is a unique and popular marathon held annually in the Bordeaux wine region of France, known for its unconventional atmosphere. Runners have the opportunity to stop at designated refreshment stations where they can sample a variety of wines from local chateaux, along with regional delicacies such as cheese and other gourmet treats. Does anybody ever make it to the end? I just want to know. I'm sure the French drink the wine like water, but just seems dubious.
I did it! For a second there I thought I wouldn't make it to the finish line, but I did! Why are there so many sheep? Hey! Get off my farm, you drunken imbecile! Ah, good sir! What was my finishing time, please? Get out before I shear you like one of my sheep! I want my trophy, please! Here it is, never mind. I want to thank everybody. I dedicate this to my grandmère. May she rest in peace. I love you, mommy. Mwah. I love you so much. I'm calling the police. See you guys next year!
Water jousting, a rugby golf hybrid, parkour, drunk marathons, and witchcraft? Yeah, safe to say sports in France sometimes gets a little weird. So, what do you guys think? Leave a comment if you agree that French sports are weird, and let me know if you think there's a French sport I missed. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Au revoir!